Hey, what's up everybody, it's me Jordan, and I'm back with another drawing video. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to draw this simple anime face, so I'll just get straight to it. I start out by drawing a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, you can just roughly do it, it's just for guidelines, so that's not a big deal. Next I'm going to rule a line through the center of the circle, and this is going to help get all the proportions right, so you have the eyes spaced out correctly. And then I'm going to rule a line at the bottom of the circle, and another line a little bit further down, and this is going to be where the chin finishes. So depending on what you want your character to look like, you can vary where this line's going to be. I'm drawing a female character, so the jaw isn't going to be as big as if I was drawing a male character. The line that was ruled directly under the circle, touching the bottom of it, is where the jaw goes out to, and then that tapers into the chin at the line underneath. So you can play around with the proportions of that depending on how long you want the face to be, but that really just comes down to style preference. There's lots of different ways you can do it depending on how you want the proportions of the face to be, so you can just play around with that. I've drawn another line through the circle, and this is going to be for where the eyes are going, and it's also going to be where the top of the ears are, so it's going to help you get the ears matching so they're not wonky with one big ear and one small one. I've done it a little bit wrong. I think the right hand ear is looking a little bit smaller, but I'll just change that up later. When it comes to drawing manga style, there are so many different ways you can do it. The proportions can vary a lot, like where the nose is, the eye size, how big the forehead is, all of that can vary depending on the style. So I always encourage people to experiment for themselves and see what works. For this one, I've just done a really generic kind of proportions and everything. So feel free to try out different things for your drawing. Right now I'm just going in and sketching the hair, just roughly where I want to have all the strands going. I decided to go with long hair for this one, but it's completely up to you with how you want your character to look. I felt like the jaw was looking a little bit too big on this one, so I went back and slimmed it down a little bit because I felt like the face was looking a little bit too round, so I go back in and fix that up. I'm just doing the finishing touches to the rough sketch, fixing a couple of things up, and then I'm going to go in with my Mars Lumograph pencils and start shading it and doing the final outlines. This drawing I'm just using those pencils. If you guys are interested in seeing a tutorial like this but using inking and Copics, let me know and I might do that in the future. So I'm going in and lining the eyes. For this drawing I decided to just do really basic eyes that don't really need much explaining. They're really simple, so you can kind of just see what I'm doing. I've got a couple of videos planned which I'm working on at the moment. A more in-depth tutorial on how to draw eyes. One of them's just with pencils like these, and they'll be showing you how to draw 3 different types of eyes, I think. And then I've got another one coming out which will be showing you how to ink eyes and colour them with Copics, and I think that's going to have 16 different types of eyes. So stick around for that because they're going to be a lot more detailed and a lot more interesting than these ones. For the outline for this drawing I used a 7B pencil, and this gives you a really nice dark outline, which is kind of what I wanted for this drawing. And for the shading, I think I alternated between a HB pencil and a 2B pencil to get some nice soft shading. You'll see sometimes I turn the pencil on its side so I get the flat edge of it, and this really helps when you just want to get some light shading. Now I'm doing the line work for her hair. I did it pretty roughly for this drawing. It's really up to you how much time you want to spend on it, and you can do some really nice detailed hair if you want. For the purposes of this video, I just did a quick kind of sketchy version. It's all really loose, nothing insanely detailed or anything like that. If I'm going to do a detailed drawing, I prefer to ink it because I get sick of having to sharpen my pencil all the time. So when you're inking it, you don't have to worry about that. But maybe that's just me. I really like doing inking, so I don't do that many drawings like this. But I know a lot of people do, so I thought this might be helpful to some of you guys who are just kind of starting out and you've just got like pencils. Maybe later down the line I'll do some inking tutorials as well. Most of the line work's done now, so I'm going to go in and do the shading and just build it up. It's completely up to you how much time you want to spend on this. You can do heaps of shading and get it looking kind of 3D, make it pop a lot more. Or you can be really slack like me and not spend that much time on it. The more contrast it has, the more visually interesting it's going to look, I guess is one way you could put it. So you want to have some dark areas and then some light areas. That's what creates the contrast. I always try and make the eyes dark because that's going to draw a lot of attention to it. and it's going to make them look shinier and more lifelike because you've got the highlight in the eye, then you've got the dark bit of the pupil, and it creates a more 3D effect basically. Some of the shading techniques that you might want to use in your drawing is hatching, where you're using the line work for the shading, and also some softer shading where you can blend it with your finger or a tissue, where you just kind of rub the pencil in and it gives it a really nice soft look. So I like to use a combination of both, so you can have the contrast between softness and then some more rough shading. It makes it look a lot more interesting than if it's just one or the other, in my opinion. I felt like the drawing was looking a little bit plain and it could use a bit more movement in it, so I decided to draw a bow in, and this just gives more flow to it. It kind of goes with the hair. It looks like there's a slight breeze coming from the left hand side, and it just adds more movement to it, and I think it makes the drawing look a lot more interesting than without it. At this stage I'm pretty much done. I'm just adding some final touches. I could spend a lot more time on it and add more shading, but I don't think that's necessary for this drawing. I'm just adding a couple of things, a little bit of hatching in the background there and some loose strands of hair, and then I'm going to go in and add some circles in the background just to finish it off. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you want to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments. Check me out on Instagram if you want to keep up to date with my drawings and see works in progress and some better photos of my work. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, it'd be much appreciated. And like always, I'll catch you guys next week in next week's drawing video. And you want to make sure that the line tapers off, so you're kind of flicking the pencil so you get a nice gradation from the thick part close to the eyelid, and then it goes nice and thin away from that.